Connor and Cade wanted to pass along their top tips for keeping warm in a cold camp, so here they are. Hello again, I'm Jason, and you probably know Connor and Cade too. Around every New Year, the boys and I go winter camping. We will do it more often than that too, but the New Year's camping trip has become something of a tradition. Today, the boys wanted to share 3 tips each that they find to be the most impactful when it comes to staying warm out in the cold.
I'm Cade. Always have a stove and multiple ways to start it.
Let's generalize this a bit. Where we live, yes, melted snow is going to be our main winter water source, and a stove creates that. But we want to make sure heat, one of our 10 essentials, is always available. This is even more important in winter, even if we live where running water is still available. Whether it's for a warm meal or just to temporarily heat our hands when we are doing dexterous things, a heat source is a big deal in the cold. And while stoves may have piezo igniters, those frequently fail in winter. And lighters can be hard to use with cold fingers or thick gloves, so we usually have a flint and steel option with us too. And while we are talking about foundational gear for winter outings, Connor wants to emphasize layers.
Have multiple layers of you tailored to your trip.
What he's talking about is making sure we know what our planned activities are and matching layers to the activities. If we are car camping and mostly hanging out at camp, then we probably just need the base layers, mid layers, and big, puffy layers we would want when we aren't on the move. But if we are going to be making a big hike into camp, or plan on hiking during the trip, using our location as a base camp, then we need more active layers that are good at shedding heat rather than retaining it all, as sweat becomes the enemy. If we sweat under our big layers and then stop, that sweat is going to make us very cold. Which takes us to Connor's second tip.
It's better to stay warm than to get warm.
This is a behavioral thing. The insulation we wear doesn't generate heat. It only traps the heat we create, usually created by moving around. So by definition, it takes a lot of work to get that body engine revved up and running warm. That's why when we stop moving, our first act should be to layer up. We want to trap the heat we've created before it's gone. But at some point, we are going to stop moving and get ready for the night. And the boys have a few tips for that, too.
We put our foam roll on top of our air mattress in winter.
There are a couple of things at work here. First, we are on snow, and so we don't have to worry about rocks and twigs puncturing our air mattress, so we don't need the foam underneath as a barrier. Second, air mattresses have gotten progressively thicker, and that has created more surface area over the outer skin of the mattress, particularly on the sidewalls. The more surface area we have, the more cold we can transfer. Having the thinner material on top unwires this dynamic. Then, if we have the option, Cade also recommends a particular type of gear to put on top of our mattress roll system.
Use a double bag or quilt so that 2 people can share their body heat.
If you aren't alone, and if you have a double sleep system, I think this can be a big deal. If you've got a house with 2 furnaces instead of 1, neither furnace needs to work as hard to keep the environment inside the home warm. Sure, we've made a bigger area that we need to heat up. But if we are using the correct temperature bag for us and the conditions so that our single body is enough to keep us warm in a single bag amount of space, then we have a heat surplus. So if we add a second heat surplus, then we have effectively doubled the amount of heat kept over heat lost. Which takes us to the last of our 6 tips, ending with Connor.
Fill a bottle with hot water and place it at the bottom of your bag.
No single tip I have ever given or received is as effective as this one. When we had that one-person size furnace in a one-person bag of space to warm up before, well, now we've added a second furnace without adding any more space to heat up. Yes, we need to make sure the bottle is leak-proof, but that is something I test before every trip, filling it up and turning it upside down and walking away for a while. And it can be a bit uncomfortable for some having something around their feet. But I like to buy winter bags and quilts that are 6 inches or about 15 centimeters longer than I am tall. That way I have a built-in storage area for all the liquid-based things, tomorrow's socks, batteries, things I need to keep warm. So when we have overnights in the cold of winter, there are 6 tips that Connor and Cade found to be the most effective for them. Do you have tips to add to the list? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, and share if you want to support us. For more information, you can go to our website at www.shortguysbetaworks.com. You can check out a video I made about my preferred 0-degree sleep system, or maybe check out our entire winter series called Cold. We'll see you next week, and keep on getting more out of that big outside.